Hello, and thank you for joining me here today for this Wasted Patriot exclusive, as I sit down to chat with everyone's least favorite Attorney General in the United States, Bill Barr. Thank you so much for actually being here, General.
Good to be here, thank you.
So first up, I want to ask you about the massive protests that have been going on in cities across the country.
It's been done from time to time in our history. We try to avoid it.
Well, yes, but of course there are times when it's necessary, don't you agree?
No, that's completely false. That's completely false.
False? Wait, are you serious?
I think everyone was on the same page.
Wait. What page? Do you mean the Bill of Rights? You know, the Constitution?
Oh, absolutely. Under the Anti-Insurrection Act, the president can use regular troops to suppress rioting.
Okay, but hold on a minute. There were tens of thousands of protesters all across the country that were overwhelmingly peaceful, and a few people who wanted to take advantage of the situation.
They were not peaceful protesters, and that's one of the big lies that the media seems to be perpetuating.
Okay, so you're telling me the rioting that we saw all over our TV screens, which the media did cover extensively and sensationalistically like they do everything else, are you saying we're lying when we say they were mostly peaceful?
And I think we have to be careful about automatically assuming that the actions of an individual necessarily mean that their organization is rotten. All organizations have people who engage in misconduct, and you sometimes have to be careful as to when you ascribe that to the whole organization and when it really is some errant member who isn't following the rules.
Well, yes, but isn't that essentially what I'm saying about the protesters?
These were the violent rioters who were dominated Lafayette Park.
Are you talking in circles?
Either progress is being made or it isn't.
Okay. Let's move on. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think it's appropriate to use active military troops against peaceful protesters?
Back and actually lead to more death, more murders, more crime. So we have to be prudent in how we approach that.
Okay, so do you agree it would only be appropriate to use troops if a governor requested assistance?
The federal government sometimes doesn't listen to governors in circumstances.
Seriously?
I think we all agree that it's a last resort, but it's ultimately the president's decision. The reporting is completely false on this.
Well, it certainly should be a last resort. Pretty sure about 99% of people would agree. So, do you think the response from police was appropriate?
It's important when you're dealing with civil disturbances to have adequate forces at hand and out and about so you can control events and not be controlled by events, and that it's more dangerous for everybody if you have these wild melees with thinly manned police lines running after protesters with batons, and that it's important to have adequate forces on the street.
Right. So, by that logic, why would you decide to forcibly remove all of the protesters from Lafayette Park just so Trump could go down and take his picture in front of a church?
Here's what the media is missing. This was not an operation to respond to that particular crowd. It was an operation to move the perimeter one block.
10 minutes. 10 minutes before Trump's speech, they tear-gassed peaceful protesters, journalists, even the clergy at the church he used for his photo op. And you're telling me that's just a coincidence? You really think anyone was going to believe that?
By the way, there was no tear gas used. The tear gas was used Sunday when they had to clear 8th Street to allow the fire department to come in to save St. John's Church. That's when tear gas was used.
Okay, well, chemical irritants.
Pepper spray is not a chemical irritant. It's not chemical. Pepper balls.
Call it what you will. Are you saying, as the United States top law enforcement officer, that forcibly removing that crowd, using the methods we all saw on video, was appropriate?
We have that power. We will use that power. We just say that, you have to be selective in how you apply it.
Wow. So you basically just don't give a fuck anymore, huh?
Well, that's exactly the reaction that I think has been a problem in the past.
Seriously? Like, were you high or something?
They were throwing bricks and an inflammable liquid at the police.
Wait a second, who was?
I was there.
Who
I
what
was there.
happened?
They were thrown. I saw them thrown.
Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe somebody threw a brick. But like you said earlier, every organization has people who engage in misconduct. And in this case, we're not even talking about an organization. We're talking about groups of all types of people, citizens that are so angry with the state of current affairs that they're out there demonstrating their constitutional rights.
And those people were subdued.
Subdued. More like assaulted, really. Okay, so why didn't you wait until the crowd thinned out? Or do it overnight?
That's not something we can do overnight.
So you believe gassing people, exercising their constitutional right, so Trump can walk across the street is appropriate?
I think everyone was on the same page.
Okay, well, it looks like we are out of time. Billy Barr, thank you so much for dropping by to chat with us here today. I must say, I really hope I'd never see you again. Thank you so much for joining us, and good night.